taking a stand, defending Freedom Convoy.
Well, it is officially underway now. The People's Convoy, which set out earlier this afternoon from Southern California to take a stand for freedom in solidarity with those making their way peacefully across the country toward Washington, D.C. We'll be hearing each day from those who are a part of the growing movement. Joining me now for our Defending Freedom Convoy segment is Pastor Rob McCoy. He's the senior pastor at Godspeak Calvary Chapel in Newberry Park, California, who offered a word of encouragement and a prayer for the convoy as they launched their event earlier today. Pastor Rob, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to be with you.
I'm just going to ask you, I know the answer to this, but I want our viewers and listeners to hear it. What got you involved in this trucker-led movement for freedom?
Well, one of our congregants is helping set it all up. He's doing the logistics for it. And our congregation supported it. We got behind them financially. And they asked me to come out to, pray for them and send them off. So I said yes. And up in Adelanto in the high desert, it was cold this morning, but it was worth it.
But you also know a little bit about the overreach of the government. You have stood up against the mandates there in Southern California as they tried to close your church down. And this is, I'm actually very encouraged by what I've seen happen over the last 18 months with pastors like yourself. We've got the parents going to school board meetings, speaking out. Now we've got truckers, creating these convoys peacefully. And I want to underscore peacefully. Everybody's doing this peacefully, but it's scaring the dickens out of the left. And, quite frankly, they should be, because I think there's a sense that Americans are fed up and we're going to take our country back.
The First Amendment, the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and the freedom to peaceably assemble for a right of redress of grievances against the government. That's exactly what these truckers are doing. And we watched in Canada as the abuse by that emergency edict by Trudeau and the abuse that they've taken. They're going to lose their rigs. They're going to lose their livelihood, their jobs. That's not going to happen in America. The people of the United States are behind these truckers, and this is a peaceful protest. They don't intend to. This group is going to circle the Beltway, and they're growing in numbers, and they are committed to a peaceful presentation, longing to have these mandates and these emergency orders lifted for a virus that has over a 99% survival rate. And there's no virus on the face of the earth that merits the suspension of our inalienable rights ever.
Yeah. My takeaway from this, Pastor Rob, is that, wherever we are with whatever we have, we need to take our stand for freedom. And now is the time, whether you're in a 18-wheeler, driving to Washington, D.C., or you're in a minivan driving to the local school board meeting, it's time to defend the freedoms that made America what it was. It's not what it's not what it was now, but we can return to that.
Well, liberty, like muscles, if you don't exercise it, you lose them. And we watch here in California with Governor Newsom, the idea that he would call the church non-essential while he would leave abortion clinics open and call them essential. And we don't just abort babies in California. We lead the nation in abortion, by the way. We don't just abort the baby and tear it apart in its mother's womb and flush the parts into the sewer system. We harvest the organs of the child first. And that's essential, but the church isn't. I can't think of anything more in violation of the First Amendment than what Governor Newsom did. And we stood in opposition to it. We won. I mean, they tried to fine us $3,000 every time the doors of the church were open. And we amassed hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. I was brought before the judge on contempt charges. And we pushed back. And when you punch the bully in the nose, they go away. They finally dropped everything. And now with the mask mandates and everything else, they exempt the church now because we were willing to make a stand. Right. And everyone across the country needs to do that because, again, liberty like muscles. If you don't exercise it, you lose it. And we have to be vigilant to protect this nation that was conceived in liberty and dedicate the proposition that all men are created equal.
Well, we certainly appreciate your example, Pastor Rob McCoy. And I want to ask you before you go, how should Christians across the nation be praying for these convoys as they make their way to our nation's capital?
Well, they're going to be vilified. There's going to be a press narrative that's going to present them in a manner that's not worthy of what they're doing and who they are. They're going to try to make them nefarious characters, which they are not. They're peaceful business owners that are tired of the mandates that are stifling business. 65% of the small businesses in our county have been shut down or lost or in serious jeopardy because of these unprecedented mandates. Pray for wisdom for them and protection. They're going to try to set them up. They're going to try to vilify them and make it like the January 6th, which they're peaceful American citizens who are peacefully protesting for a right of redress of grievances against the government. And they left the place immaculate when they drove out. There wasn't a piece of trash to be found. They were loving. They sang Amazing Grace. We prayed for them. There was nothing violent in anything that was done today. Flags waving, citizens excited about their voice being heard in the halls of government. And these folks, their voice needs to be heard. Pray for them. Pray for protection. Pray for wisdom.
And pray that the truth would be known, because it's a sharp contrast to what we saw in the summer of 2020 with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They certainly didn't leave our cities clean and spotless. They left them smoldering and burning. Pastor Rob, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Tony, thank you for giving a voice to these truckers and all that you do. You're a treasure to the country, and I thank God for you and all of your listeners and the support that they provide to such an amazing cause as this. Thank you, everybody.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks.